Hey, good morning. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. Um, I am Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I'm here with my lovely wife, Dr. Alicia. How you doing today, babe?
I'm doing great. Good morning, Boyce.
Good morning. Good
How you
morning.
feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Do you know I accidentally scheduled our start time. I think it's like almost 8 o'clock a.m. Central, and I scheduled it for 9. But we started though, so we're in.
We here.
We here
Yes, we
like that,
are.
like that lady in the Olympics. We here.
We here.
We here. Hey, good morning, Weird Excursions. How are you? How are you? Good morning. So, what we decided we wanted to do today was answer questions, as long as the question's respectful, of course. But any question that anybody has, we're definitely ready to answer that question. And what I want to do is I'm thinking to keep me from talking too much. I'm thinking that we give ourselves like a 1 minute late limitation on answering the question. Right. That way we can answer as many questions as possible. What do you think, babe?
Well, it all depends on the question.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't like the time limit. Just go for it, boys.
Okay, I'm gonna go for it. Just let loose.
Yeah, but if you're talking too long, I'll give you a signal.
You
No one
tap me.
can see it.
You'll poke me in my ribs.
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
kick you if
All
you're
right.
going too long.
Okay. Well, good
You know,
morning.
couples need to have they need to have like a non-verbal, I don't know, communication where they can tell someone that they're just going too long.
We got a way of talking that's better than words. Remember
It's
that?
no, what's that?
You got that whip appeal.
Oh,
I don't sound like Babyface, so that's the
you
problem.
got a good singing voice. I'm
Come on and
surprised.
whip it on me,
Like
whatever
you
you want.
point to your wrist if you're going too long.
Oh, point to your wrist like hurry the hell up, like move your ass.
Well, don't say it that mean. Don't say it like that. But
So okay, so good morning everybody. Put your B1 in the chat, hashtag B1. You guys know what it is. We are black first, and as a family we are black first. So if you are into that philosophy, say put your B1 in the chat, and we'll answer any and all questions as long as they're respectful. And if you are disrespectful, please actually put your disrespectful comment in the chat so I can ban your monkey ass for life. So oh yeah, Dixon. My question is, why do you keep trying to change the definition of a simp? Okay, you know what? That's borderline disrespect because I feel like he's asking it facetiously. But I think what he's asking about is, we have this stupid glorification of the pimp culture that leads to us glorifying men who don't take care of their kids and hate black women. And basically, they said you're a simp. When I told everybody how much I love you, there were some guys, mostly the Kwame Brown crowd, which whatever they can think what they want. And I said, no, actually, a simp is a punk ass guy that doesn't take care of his kids. A simp is a man who has no obligation to anybody but himself. If you're sitting around in your drawers smoking weed, playing Xbox in your mama's basement, that's simp culture. The instant gratification culture to me is simp culture because you're not man enough to understand your role in taking accountability for your community and the protection of the women and children of the community. So if you ask why I changed the definition of simp, it's because I had to explain to the simps how to become a real man. A real man is a man who takes care of a family, not a man who sits around and just engages in pleasure seeking activities. That's called instant gratification. It is glorified throughout hip hop music. A lot of black men, unfortunately, have been hypnotized by that, and that is harmful to the black community. If you agree with me, put a yes in the chat. If you disagree, it's okay to disagree, but at the end of the day, we can't build a community if we got a bunch of simpy, wimpy men who don't care about anything other than getting a piece of ass and whatever. Like seriously, if you're chasing liquor and weed and women all day, you ain't building nothing. You ain't and look at how many rappers die with like no wealth. Your kid, you're an embarrassment to your family. Your kids can't say anything good about you at your funeral. You didn't even leave enough money to pay for the damn funeral. You didn't leave no life insurance policy. Who wants to be a man like that? I mean, I ask everybody in the comments, and think about this. We glorify men like that. We glorify that kind of behavior. We've been brainwashed. So I'm just telling you guys, like, let go of that nonsense. So when you see people talking like that, I encourage you to correct them. Like, no, that's what a simp does. A simp is a guy who doesn't take care of his family. So no, I'm not offended by any of that. Let's see here. Okay, next
wait,
question.
I have a statement. What's the female version of a simp?
I don't think there is one.
No, there can't
No,
be like a
because I
man.
I, I see simping is anti-masculine behavior,
Huh.
and the woman is supposed to be masculine.
Well, listen, we can make this up.
But what's the female like?
Let's just think
You might
about
say
it.
like maybe a deadbeat. Like what's a female deadbeat? Well, to me, a female deadbeat might be a woman who does trifling things, like doesn't let a father see his children, just because she's mad or jealous. Maybe she um, doesn't want to become a holistic quality woman. Like I don't know, she thinks she's encouraging other women to give themselves away super cheap and to do things, get in that Cardi B culture. Like I don't think there's anything healthy about that. I think that Cardi B, Megan the Stallion culture, it only leads to terrible lives. It leads to death and devastation, abuse, drug addiction. But yet we glorify that. Again, these white people pull a rope a dope on us. They literally have us honoring the things that are killing us, and then we wonder why everything's killing us. And then we say, "Oh, it's racism. It's so hard to be black." Well, maybe if you stop making it so hard to be black, you wouldn't feel that way. Stop supporting the things that are killing you. Be conscious. What do you
Okay.
think?
No, yeah, I mean that makes sense. So we're throwing everything in that's negative about our culture in that definition.
Yeah,
Not even I don't even think it really is our culture, but I think it's been ascribed to our culture.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like, think about this. I want to ask y'all a question. Have you ever seen any community build wealth and power when they can't even keep families together? I mean, why do you think they work so hard to destroy the black family? That's your key to power. So when a guy says you're a simp because you love a black woman, that's very anti-family. It doesn't mean
Hmm.
you have to love every woman that walks by. I mean, I didn't, I didn't go to the strip club and find my wife. I found my wife in the library. So I said, you know what? I could. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a broke. I have money. And so I guess some people think if you have money and you're a man, you're supposed to just go and just do whatever you want and get high and drunk every day and sleep with random women and infect yourself with tons of STDs and
And that's supposed to be
have
fun.
right have baby mamas everywhere. Like
That's
like
their
think
definition of fun and living your life.
right, living your best life. And I,
Living your
and I
best life
and I
going
get
out.
I get that if you maybe think that way and you're 23 years old. I kind of get that.
So
But
is
but
it
when you're 43 and
are
you're
you
living like
saying that
that,
it's
mhm,
it's okay to do it in your 20s? Is that what you're
I'm not
saying?
saying it's okay. I'm saying I understand it a little bit more if you're a child.
Mhm.
If you're a child, and the problem is we got a lot of 45-year-old children in the black community. We have a lot of, that's why, again, I point to cases in point. Look at all the rappers that die before the age of 50. They died from hard living. They didn't die just because Jesus forgot to bless them or it was just bad luck. No, they died because if you're sitting around smoking crack and sleeping with, random women and throwing your life away, throwing away your money, throwing away your time, all these things, throwing away your body, you're going to die. You're not going to survive.
Mhm. Do you think it's working though?
What's working?
This promotion of this type of culture.
I think it's working in certain segments of the society.
It is working.
Yeah, like
Okay.
people that are not conscious enough to break it down and understand it,
Hmm.
they fall right into it because
Okay.
because we get there's security in numbers. Like we think that since everybody else is doing it, that it
Hmm.
must be okay.
Well, is it really that way, or is it a perception that everyone's doing it?
Um, it could be the perception everyone's doing. You never know. You never know. I mean, you never know. I don't think I wouldn't put it past them to deliberately push a culture
Hmm.
onto us, and give the perception that everybody's doing it. And what the big thing is that white people cheer it on. They cheer it on for your children. They want your child out here thugging in the street, getting shot
Hmm.
up in the streets of Chicago, but they don't want their children doing it. But white people finance it because they like to see the black man in the role of an animal. They
Hmm.
like to see a black man standing on stage in front of 100,000 people calling himself a nigga. And white people cheer for that. Pay attention.
Hmm.
And we're not, because we're not conscious, we don't realize that that is worse than the Ku Klux Klan. That's racism. I mean, that's racism. When you pay a black man to go stand in front of 100,000 white people in the stadium and he says, die, nigga, die. And all the white people are cheering. And then you think that he's your hero. You think he's a hero because white people are paying him money. Like
Hmm.
that is a really sinister genocidal plot
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
now all your little boys are trying to imitate the guy they see on stage. They're
Who looks
imitating.
like them?
Right. They
Hmm.
want to
Hmm.
imitate the minstrel show. They,
Right.
look at how many black kids we got out here that want to be ballers or rappers. They want to go to the NFL and get all that brain damage, or they want to go and become rappers where rappers are dying once a week. Literally, young rappers are dying once a week from
You know what's so funny?
what?
All right, I have to cut you up because you are lecturing,
I know I
and I
get too
think we need to
serious.
have a dialogue, not a monologue.
But you kept asking me questions, so I
Well, I
thought we were
was
having a
asking you
dialogue,
questions,
lady.
but you're getting into like you're doing like
Okay.
this podcast mode.
Well, Weird
But
Excursions asked, "Do we go to marriage counseling?" Yes.
if needed, yeah,
Yeah.
if
Hell,
needed.
I thought counseling was a good idea from the jump. I think of counseling as preventative maintenance on the things that matter to you. Yeah, I mean, anything that ever mattered to me, anything that was ever important to me, oh, I'm going to invest in the things that matter to me. If I'm not investing in it, then it ain't important to me. You
Uh-huh,
know, and
uh-huh.
so I understand very clearly that if you don't have a happy home and a healthy relationship with the people around you, you can't get nothing done. So I invest heavily in maintaining healthy relationships with all the people in my space.
All the people in your space.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. And if I can't have a healthy relationship with you, guess what happens?
What happens, boy?
You get ejected.
No, I've never seen you eject people. You
Oh,
really work.
I'm After we get done, I'm gonna give you a list of
Yeah,
people
give me a list of the
I've either
because I've never
that I've
seen
e- a
that.
list of people I've either ejected or distanced myself from completely. Remember also, like, I think of things a little different because I meet a ton of people,
Mm-hmm.
so you have to be careful about what energy you let into your space. So there's people I assess everyone I meet to determine how close I want to be to that situation.
Well, see, I just like how you just see the good in everybody.
I see
You
the
know, I
good.
just love that,
Yeah, I like.
and
How about this?
that's
I
important.
look for the good in anybody,
Uh huh.
but some people are gooder than others.
The goodest,
Yeah, yeah. I look for the people that are
the
gooder than
goodest.
others.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Next
Okay.
question. My biggest question is if I can be personally tutored by you guys, and if so, how? Well, I don't do a lot of like direct one-on-one consultations. I mean, we have them, but it's not cheap to do one-on-ones with me. I mean, but if you really are interested, you can email support@theblackbusinessschool.com. That's
Well, it
support.
depends on who's asking that question because it depends on what they want.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm just talking about like I'm talking about me, and then I'll talk about
Talk
you
about you.
if you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, as far as one-on-one stuff, it's support at the blackbusinessschool.com. It also coaching with Dr. Alicia.com is where Alicia actually sees couples and individuals. She's actually a couples counselor, licensed, and she's a full professor of social work. So she's not just a person with an opinion; she's a person with a scientifically based, licensed perspective on things.
Yeah,
So,
and it's a range. It's a range of things people come to me for. I
oh
mean, it
really?
could be individuals who are trying to improve their relationships. It could be couples who try to decide if they're getting want to get married to each other. Couples trying to decide if they should stay married to each other. Couples who have a pretty good marriage but want to make it better. It's a big range of people, and it's awesome. It's pretty fun to get in there and to help people sort things out and see some clarity and learn about themselves and learn about each other. And I mean, it's a treat to be able to facilitate that whole process.
Cool,
It
very
really
cool.
is.
Yeah, yeah, you're good at what you do. You're very dedicated to it. I admire that.
Well, I have joy in it.
Yeah.
And that's what's important. And so it's not like you get up every day and you're doing something because you have to. You're doing it because you want to.
Hmm.
And that's what's important.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ms. Hogg, independent paparazzi consultant. How about that for a YouTube name? She said, Dr. Alicia, tell me about conversion disorder. Have you heard of conversion disorder?
Conversion disorder. Ooh boy, it's I love teaching that class. So I usually teach this class called the DSM, which
Okay.
is the Diagnostic Statistical Manual, and that's where all the diagnoses are. And conversion disorder is a psychosomatic disorder.
Mm,
Um, and that's interesting. I'm really wondering why she
yeah,
asked
it's a
about
mental
that.
condition in which a
Oh, you
person
looked up
has.
the definition?
But wait, but it says conversion disorder. Here it says
Uh
it's
huh.
a Let me know. Give me a yes in the chat if you guys can still hear us because I'm switching my screen for a minute because I want to look this up. It's a mental condition because I don't expect you to have the whole DSM memorized.
Well, I
Uh,
do have it memorized, by the way. I know conversion disorder is it's like a psychosomatic disorder. You feel like something is wrong with you, but it's not physically wrong with you. It's just mental.
oh
Right.
wow.
So yeah, I do actually do have the DSM memorized, by the way.
Really? I didn't know.
Yes, throw some at me. I bet I
I
can
didn't
come
know
up.
therapists had. I didn't know you memorized it.
Well, you have to
Can
get
you
your license.
really
Well,
the whole isn't the DSM
I
like a
remember
big book?
I memorized that entire book, and you should have seen me. I was a mad woman. memorizing that book.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, and then I taught the class, so it was
Wow.
easier. But
Just in case y'all wonder, I'm learning something new about my spouse right now. I didn't know that people memorize it. Like, how big is it? How many pages is it?
it's pretty. It's a couple of inches thick. It's pretty thick.
Damn. Okay.
And
All
they
right.
and they revise it. They
Okay.
revise it every couple of years.
Okay. I see you, black woman. Okay. Everybody type black excellence in the chat.
You are funny.
Like, that's real. That's heavy. I didn't know. Yeah. So yeah, it
Okay,
says
what is the official
the
definition?
official definition is it's a mental condition in which a person has blindness, paralysis, or other nervous system neurological symptoms that cannot be explained by medical evaluation.
Mm-hmm. And
Wow.
sometimes it's following like something very traumatic. Oh, combat veterans tended to
Really.
have conversion disorder.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to the veterans.
Yeah.
Thank you for your service. I know there are veterans in the room. Veteran. A lot of
Yeah.
veterans follow me, and I'm honored by that because my father fought in Vietnam, and I watched lots of documentaries about war. Like, I watched that 12-hour documentary about Vietnam and the
You
one about
sure
World War II.
did.
Yeah.
You kind of laid off of the award documentaries. You were really
Yeah,
into it
I
for
want
a
to.
while.
I watched the whole one, the Ken Burns one on the Civil War. I want to watch a World War I one. But the thing about the reason I admire veterans so much is because I first of all I'm offended that we don't respect veterans the way we should as a country. I think we should do a better job of that because everybody who talks smack about a veteran doesn't have the courage to go out and literally put your life on the line to defend and protect something that you value or believe in.
Mm.
I just honor that immensely, and I would watch the documentaries because I wanted to empathize with the soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to imagine what it would feel like to be 19 years old, and you're going across, like in World War II, they would go across the Atlantic Ocean to go to Europe,
Mm-hmm.
and they would be in the middle of the ocean where there's no water for hundreds of miles, or no land, and the U-boats would come through and sink their ships. And I can imagine being 19 years old having your ship blown up, and you fall in the water. And imagine if you can't even swim. One guy was like, "I can't even swim." So if they sank his ship, he's going straight down. And I just thought about that. And I said, I cannot imagine how that must feel.
Okay, I have a confession.
What's your confession?
I come from a family of draft dodgers.
Yeah, I know, I
I
know.
do. So I think my dad, they tried to get him to go to Vietnam, and he did everything he can to get out of it. He said, "I'm not fighting that white man's war." He was kind of a
Hmm.
militant and was just not for it. So, he wasn't interested in. And my grandfather, by the way, they tried to get him to fight in World War II. And he's like, "No, I'm not going to do that." But he did help to build bombs for the war.
Well,
So,
yeah,
it's
he
almost
was a
like they gave him
well,
a
he was
choice.
at the University of Chicago at the time when they were doing all those experiments. And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
okay,
He was a chemist.
yeah,
So he worked in Chicago as a chemist.
and you know what?
And so he did quality assurance for the bombs.
Well, you know what? I totally get that
Mm-hmm.
perspective because the other the other shameful thing that's happened in this country is that we send veterans off to fight unjust wars
Yeah.
because rich people use our soldiers as like a private army to go, and they'll tell you, oh, it's about patriotism and freedom, when really it's about making money, maybe getting oil or whatever resource they're
Mm-hmm.
trying to get. And my father, when I look at what he went through because he went to Vietnam, it makes me hate the idea that we were in Vietnam. We never should have been there. It never should have happened. And it was, it's a terrible war. So I
You know
don't.
how I feel about war, though.
Yeah, well, I
Like,
know.
I don't
I
think there's
well,
an excuse.
well,
I don't think
remember.
there's ever an
Well,
excuse to
I'm
go.
old fashioned with that too. It's not your job as my wife to be worried about war. If there's a war, your husband will fight that war for you.
Uh-uh.
I will go to war
Uh-uh.
to protect my family. Yeah, I would if I had
Well,
to.
okay, if you felt like you had to go to war, but I'm talking about the military industrial complex.
Well, the military industrial complex, absolutely.
So
But
that's what I'm
to me,
speaking of.
that does not take away from the courage and nobility of those who serve the country. So
Yes.
it's like my grandma used to say, "I support the troops, but not the war." I think that's perfectly okay to say.
Yes. So that's probably true, but like any of my children decided that they wanted to fight in a war or something like that, I would discourage it.
Yeah, I know you would. Well, I don't think any mother has ever wanted their son to go off to
No,
war.
I'm talking about discourage it. Like, no, you ain't. Like,
I know you.
Discourage is a
Well,
kind word for what I
right.
would say.
Well, we would have different points of view.
We would have
I would
different.
probably say, "Are you sure you know what you're getting into?" So
No,
my thing is not so much telling somebody what to do. It's because sometimes people remember, in a society you need soldiers. I know you don't want your child to be in the war, right? And that's true. I mean, there a lot of
I did not give birth to anybody who's going to kill somebody.
well, sometimes killing's necessary in the world. But let's move on.
Okay, we'll move
Let's move
on.
on.
I think that's a
Okay.
philosophical.
It is. I think. I'm sorry. I don't know about y'all, but I think sometimes folks need killing. And
Well, I have.
if there's somebody if somebody tried to harm my family, I'd kill them,
Okay, that's
and
different.
I wouldn't lose any sleep.
Okay, but that is different from what I'm saying.
Oh,
Because you
okay,
got to
go ahead.
listen to me, boys.
I'm listening to you, babe. What you gotta
I'm talking about the military industrial complex. I'm talking about fighting these wars for the powers that be.
well,
I'm not trying to do
agree.
that.
Well, we agree that that's bullshit.
Right.
Yeah, I never once
So
did.
that's not
I
it.
never once spoke to the nobility
You fight your
of the
own
war
wars.
industrial
You
complex,
fight your own wars.
the military industrial.
Don't get my child to do it.
Right. Well, Michael Moore. Remember Michael Moore in his
Oh,
documentary? He went to Congress and went to every
that's
politician
right.
who supported the Iraq War, and he said everyone, all of the ones who had children that were
Age.
eligible.
Uh-huh.
Yep. And he said, I have the paperwork here where you can sign your child up to fight in this war. Would you like to sign your child up? And none of them would. All of them walked
Yeah,
away.
they sure
Yeah,
did.
because they'll send your child over to die for whatever,
What
but
is
not their
Michael
own.
Moore up to? He's been quiet lately.
I don't
It'd
know.
be really. He's an interesting guy. I like his documentaries though.
He's good. He's good. He's good.
He's really funny in how he delivers his content. Okay, so we got to move on.
Yeah,
Go on.
he is good.
Hmm.
Okay, so
Is there another?
Freeman is all the way from Freeman Bako is from Nigeria, Abuja, Nigeria. So what's up, Freeman? Nadia Ziad says, Dr. Alicia, what are the best tips to deal with anger you are feeling with all the negative things going on now? What's your tip on dealing with that anger?
With the negative things going on. What are the negative things going on? So what's happening is that you're noticing negative things going on around you and in
Uh,
the world. So I'm wondering how is it that you're noticing all the negative things? Because for every negative thing that's happening in the world, there's always something really great happening. And
I think social media distorts us.
it's got to.
Yeah,
It's got to. I think set your intention about what you want to pay attention to.
yeah,
There's definitely for every negative thing, there's definitely something in there that's positive. And I'm just wondering, what is it that makes you angry? Are you not accepting things?
yeah.
It's
I think people
mhm.
have to be very conscious of the energy they take in on social media because
Right.
they people build massive platforms designed specifically to trigger you on a daily basis. And
Oh, it's like dopamine. It's a
yeah,
dopamine addiction with social media. Probably turn it off.
yep. Turn that shit
Turn your
off.
TV off.
Hmm. You have
Put your
to.
phone down.
You
Put your
have to.
phone down.
Oh well. You know what? You know what it is. I like my phone because I like the fact that I feel like I use my phone. My phone does not use me. Like I
Okay.
use
Okay.
social media. It doesn't use me. It's like I engage it because I like actually talking to people. But I'm very deliberate
Oh, I like that.
I'm very deliberate about the energy I allow. That's why, I make no bones about the fact that if someone comes in with crazy energy, I will block you. And I'm not blocking you just because I don't want you around. I'm blocking you really because I don't want to focus on what the stupid shit you just said. I don't even want to think about it because I know that I'm gonna walk away. I'm gonna be mad. I'm gonna be like, this guy, he doesn't get it. And next thing you
Hmm.
know, you're arguing with a dumbass.
Well,
And one
there's
of the keys to peace is don't
mhm.
argue with dumbasses. Go ahead, babe.
Well, there's so many things to be angry about. I mean, just look at all the things that are just happening that are shown every day that it's just can incite you to just be like, oh,
Mm,
I cannot believe this is happening. Where's the world coming to?
right.
What's the point of having kids, bringing children into this world that's so awful? And, our kids are going to be forced to do things. And just think about the systems that we come in contact with, the educational system. You could go all day long and get angry about the educational system. What other system?
Well, I don't,
The the
educate
justice
the
system.
justice system,
That can
economic
incite you
systems.
to be angry.
Yeah, and but the thing about it is, if you really sit down and really process it, though, there's a big difference between your life and what you see on social media. Like
Yeah.
we'll take it all in. Like we'll hear about something terrible that happened in Kansas. A black girl got choked to death by a cop in Kansas.
You don't even
And,
know that
and
lady.
right, and we right.
You
And
don't know that
it doesn't
girl.
mean we don't. It doesn't mean we shouldn't care. But it's like stop. Sometimes people will internalize it to the point where they feel like somebody just choked them, or choked their friend, or choked their child, or that all these cops in all these neighborhoods are choking everybody. And it's like, no, one person, one thing happened across the country, and it doesn't mean you can't get involved, but you can't take it too seriously in the sense of pretending like it's happening all the time, everywhere you go.
Yeah, and so it's manipulating your emotions is what's happening. It's
Yeah.
somebody in Kansas. I've never even been to Kansas. Someone in Kansas gets hit by a car. No one wants to hear about a person getting hit by the car. But at the same time, you're going to change your Facebook status because somebody you don't even know gets injured. So
Mm,
so
yeah.
it's like it. What happens is it manipulates your emotions, and it throws you off center.
Well, Black Dot said it well when he said it's the manipulation of energy and turning it.
Ah,
Well, he said turning it into matter, into physical
yes.
form, right? And I agree. Like you have your psychological and spiritual energy, and they manipulate that to the point where it actually becomes real because you believe it's real. Because you believe it's real, you make it real, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I agree. I like that. I like that way of defining things. So, strong, independent Black queen who don't need no man. That's a credit. Look at that. Look at that YouTube name.
Strong, independent Black queen who don't need no man. Wait,
That might that you sound
why
like a
don't you need a
bot.
man?
You said no. This probably a
You
bot.
think it's a bot, but
Yeah,
a
I
bot
think
has a question
I
though.
think yeah. They said, how do you feel about Jim Jones' contribution to the to our community? We don't have anything to say about Jim Jones. I don't know anything about what he's doing. The Weird Excursion says, why do you think so many black men don't value marriage? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a myth. It's a myth that Black men kind of buy into in this artificial culture that's being pushed forward. That marriage is somehow awful for Black men, and actually, Black men really benefit from marriage in a lot of different ways.
Well, I think that
I don't
it's not.
understand it.
Well, you know what it is. I think that there's what it is. I don't. I wouldn't say all black men don't value marriage. I think that there is. I think there are allowed black men who don't value marriage in a certain way, or they don't value, or maybe just little things like suddenly, I guess because Kevin Samuels was saying that you shouldn't ever want to be a stepfather or whatever he said. I don't know exactly what he said. But I do know people have been repeating very
Oh yeah,
negative
for
things,
sure.
about stepdads. That's a culture, right? That's a segment, right? That's not the reality in terms of the whole community. Like, for example, I just got reached out to by a brother who mentors a ton of young kids in his neighborhood, and he's kind of like a father figure to those kids and a football coach.
Hmm.
And I made a donation because we need those men in the community that are
Hmm.
stepping in for the children that don't have fathers. And so again, this is whether to me it comes down to, do you care about the black community or not? If you care about the black community, that means you got to help carry the load. And but then if you don't, then you might become a freeloader. And there are freeloaders, people who just say, "Look, I'm just here. I don't owe nobody nothing. I don't have to do nothing for nobody. I don't have to be nobody's role model. I'm gonna live my life. I'm gonna do what I want."
The
And
question was marriage, though. The
right,
question isn't the.
well,
I think I want to keep this conversation. I'm sorry, I didn't want to cut you off
well, no,
because
you're
I felt
talking,
like
but
you were going
no,
into
no, no, no.
lecture
I'm not.
mode.
You're right. I
Okay,
was.
and I wanted the question was marriage, and marriage means you found somebody that you love, that you feel you want to build with, and you want to have this institution of marriage with this person so that you can leave a legacy for yourself and for the entire union and for the family. That
Mm,
is the whole thing about marriage, being in love with somebody, living your life with that person, and making each other better in the end.
yeah.
So that's what the question was about marriage, and you went into something different.
Well, no, I
And
mean, I was talking,
you went
but I
into
was talking
something,
about,
it was
but to me,
tangent.
marriage and family go hand in hand.
Of
So what I was
course.
talking about is family, and
Right.
and also when I think about family, I think of it in an expansive way, where family isn't always who you're just blood related to.
Right. But
A lot of people have family members that they're not related to. Go ahead.
okay, but the thing is you're making a commitment publicly because we're talking about wedding. Didn't say anything about wedding, but that's typically what happens in our culture is that you have this wedding and you bringing together your family and my family, and all of us are becoming one family together, working and building together, and that's what marriage does as an institution. And
Yeah.
so that makes community strongs. It makes community strong. It makes community stronger. It makes family stronger. It makes the children who come from those families stronger. So the institution of marriage, I'm not understanding exactly why Black men in particular would not see that's very beneficial. I mean, because it is.
I
Married men make more money than non-married men. Married men live longer.
yeah.
They're healthier. They're more satisfied.
Okay.
So there's lots of there's a myth that getting married means that you lose something, when actually getting married means that you actually gain a whole lot
Okay.
more. Okay,
So we've heard that
so that
perspective,
was my
and
perspective.
honestly, I think men and women view marriage differently because from
Hmm.
what I've seen, women as a man, I've never sought security. I felt that my job was to provide security. I've never like if I was single for the rest of my life, I wouldn't have felt like, oh, I'm missing out, or I've come up short. I would say that, to your point. See, when you say married men make more money than
They do.
non-married men, that's
Hmm.
true. But we don't know if marriage is the reason they're making more money, or if they got married because they were making more money.
No,
Because
there have been
hold on, wait, hold on.
studies on
I
this
get this,
that control for all the
and
other.
I'd like to hear the study. I'd like to hear the studies, but let
Yeah.
me just tell you this:
Hmm.
I would not have married you if I was not financially secure. Period. I love you. I think you're awesome. But if I did not, if I was
Hmm.
not, see, that's the thing people got to understand is, I understand when guys say, like, why would you want to be a stepdad? Like, why would you want to be taking care of all these kids? That's something I can almost understand if you are not financially solid. Because if I
Nobody
would
asked
hold
you
on,
for
wait,
money
I
though.
know, I get it, I
Hmm.
totally get it. But I'm just telling you that when a man is not economically together, the thought of taking care of other people in addition to himself is tough. I know a
Hmm.
lot of guys who probably shouldn't get married because they're in fucking survival mode.
Okay,
Like
so
they can barely pay their own bills, let alone pay bills for other people.
okay,
And so I think that
can I say?
stress.
I want to say
I get
something.
it. Go ahead.
Hmm.
Go
No,
ahead.
go ahead. That stress does what?
I think that stress makes it harder for them to make commitments. Like if I can barely feed myself, why would I commit to feeding other people? And then remember that you're dealing with a lot of marriage requires a lot of compromise, a lot of adaptation. It requires a lot of you have to pick up new skills to stay married,
Hmm.
and also women are different. Sometimes women are you guys expect more now than maybe your grandmas did. So marriage is tough. So I understand the men who say, I respect it, but that's not what I'm trying to do.
Okay.
You know,
All right.
go ahead.
So, yeah, I just want to say, like, I want to, made me think about my parents. They got married, they were young, I think 20 or something, 19, 20, and they just eloped, and they had no money at all. They had nothing. Neither one of them had anything. And they just went down to, I don't know if it's SIU, I think. So my parents were in college, and they didn't have anything. And they just went and eloped and lived in some little raggedy 1 bedroom place. And
Mhm.
they had no money at all. But they were like so in love, and they went and did this. So I don't know. I don't know what my dad was thinking at the time, but I don't know if he was thinking about, I got to be able to have some money to marry this lady. He didn't feel like that. They really
I
just
can get that. Now
loved
remember
each
though,
other.
your dad did get a PhD though. Like your dad was
He didn't have one then
right,
at
but
20.
he was gonna, but he was working in that direction. And I think also remember it was the '60s. Women were different in the '60s. One thing that women have to acknowledge too is that sometimes some women, not all women, some women have made it really hard for men to understand what you're supposed to do and how that's supposed to work. I would just say that when I chose to get married, I felt like I had to go read books just to understand what modern women kind of want because women today are a little bit different. It's a challenge, but at the same time, I think we can move on. Go ahead. Did you have a
No,
final
we can
thought?
move on, but I do have some other thoughts about that. About, I don't know if my parents' story is like so different. There's probably
Well,
people right now, 19, 20, just
mm,
running off and getting married. And I think that
that's true.
that doesn't mean it's
Well,
over
I
for
think
them.
it's also what was modeled to you, right? Like I was okay with marriage also because I saw my parents get married at 20 years old and stay married for 47 years.
Mm-hmm.
Your dad saw his parents do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think, and I think
And
if
my
I,
mom's parents were married.
right. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that if I had grown up in a household where daddy wasn't there and daddy just did what daddy wanted to do and mama took all the burden, I'd probably see marriage differently than I see it now. I would say,
Mm-hmm.
well, it was okay for my daddy to just not do nothing, and not,
Yeah,
and
you would
do what he
think.
wanted to do. So
Okay,
I think it's where a lot of guys get that idea.
yeah, it's funny because you would think that would be the case, but I'm not finding that when I talk to men. When I talk to men about marriage, they say
Mhm.
the total opposite. They say, you know what? I did not have a dad in the home.
Are you
And
talking about men that you see in therapy, or are you talking about men that you just talk to in general?
okay, I'm talking about men I see in therapy, men I talk to in general. I'm talking
Mm,
about all the men that I know. Now, it's not a representative sample here. We're not talking about like, the whole world. But I'm saying that the men that I've come in contact with who said, I didn't have a father in the home, you know what they say to me? They
right.
say, I didn't have a father in the home and I'm going to do different. They say that
Mm,
to me. They say, I didn't have a father in the home, but you know what? I'm going to learn how to be a good father, how to be a good husband, and
mm,
I'm going to do this and I'm going to stop this right now. This is not going to continue on for another generation. I'm going to do better.
hmm
Those are the
And
people that
right,
I see a lot.
and those are the men that I connect to that follow me, right? But the men who say, you're a simp because you love a woman or because you are committed to a
I don't
family.
know any of those people.
No, but I'm saying to you, I talk to a lot of men, right? And I see all
Hmm.
the, like I see, I hear some of the stuff that like people will say maybe on Kwame Brown's platform or Kevin Samuels, and what I see honestly is you do have a shift in the culture where you have intergenerational curses that get transferred. Like if your daddy wasn't nothing, like I'm gonna tell you, I had one daddy who wasn't nothing in terms of like as a father, he didn't really do much for me or my siblings. I had another daddy who was there 100%, like covered for him. You would call him a stepfather, but he really wasn't a stepfather. He was my father.
He
And
adopted you,
right, he
so
adopted me.
he's
But
your
even if he had no, I
he's
don't.
legally
But
your
here's the thing:
father.
even if he had no legal paperwork from the white man, he
Hmm.
would have still been my dad. Period. I
Exactly.
don't need the white man to validate my relationships.
Exactly.
Right.
Hmm. He made that commitment to
Right,
you and
right.
your
So
mom.
let me just tell you, the
Hmm.
man that shaped me was him.
Yeah.
Right. That's why I didn't feel any void. I didn't feel like I was missing anything. I was like, okay, he got me. He's got my back. If
Hmm.
he had not been there, if he had made a different choice at 22 years old to say, you know what,
Hmm.
why am I going to deal with this family thing? I'm gonna go out here and I'm just gonna be pimping hoes and living
Hmm.
my best life or whatever. Then guess what? I would have been influenced by the other father.
You may have been,
Right. Well, the
but we
father,
don't
wait, pay
know.
attention now. The father who
Hmm.
was on drugs, the father who did what he wanted,
Hmm.
the father who was in and out of jail. I would be a different man. I wouldn't be Dr. Boyce Watkins right now. I would have a completely, I'd probably be sitting over there saying, yeah, why would you commit to a woman and children when you could just be, out getting high?
Well, we don't know because that scenario never played itself out, so we just don't know. And it's possible that you're right about that. However, yeah, I would agree with you that it was important for you to have been to for your daddy to make that commitment to be your daddy and to be a husband to your mom, and to raise you. He raised you into the wonderful man that you are today.
Yeah, he's a
And
great
so
man.
I
He's a great
appreciate
man. I
that.
appreciate him.
Yeah.
So,
So
so
the thing with okay, go ahead.
you go ahead. Wait,
No, you
what's your
say.
point? No,
I
you
want
go
to hear
for it.
what you have to say. I really do.
Oh, I was gonna move to the next
Oh,
question
okay, move to the next
because we're getting into Boyce
question.
psychoanalysis. We can't do that.
Why
So
can't
let's
we do
see. Okay,
that?
Black to Reality says a simp was known as a man who would do anything to have a woman, in particular, buying his way into her heart. It was more so about having integrity and self worth without having to buy a person. Well, if you're out buying women, then yeah, that is kind of
You're called a
ridiculous.
John.
Right, that makes you a John. That means you hanging out with hoes,
That's a
hookers.
John.
Yeah, but I think sometimes people, like the thing that some guys don't get is they don't understand that there's a lot of research to confirm that women, even that any that women on average are they value men that can provide financial security. So a rich man is always going to have more women than a broke man 9 times out of 10.
Well,
Not every case, but
let me
everything.
tell you,
No,
I
no,
know
no,
so many
no, no.
women
I get it.
where I've been like, what's going on with your choices?
No, right.
Why would you
Why would you what?
like why would you sync up with okay, if that was the case,
Mm-hmm.
then why are all these broke men getting all
No,
these
no, 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 no.
women?
You don't understand. I said
Uh-huh.
everything else equal. Everything else equal. If you have two men who are identical in every way, except one's got $1 million and the other one's broke, who y'all think that the
How
average
can
woman
they?
is
I
going to
have
pick?
a question. How can they be identical if one is broke and one is not?
No, I'm talking about identical in every way except for bank account. Like
But I
same
don't know how
same
that's
height, same weight,
possible.
same game, same intelligence level, same number of baby mamas, same everything. Everything equal except bank account. Are you having a hard time processing
I
this?
am having a hard time
I
because
mean, you think about it,
the issue.
you did multivariate statistical analysis.
Yes,
Let every variable be constant except for one, bank account size. You cannot tell me in a million years that the man who's got money on average, if a million women voted, which man would you want, the rich man or the broke man? What do y'all think the women would say?
I think there'll be some collinearity going on.
There,
I'm throwing out some stats here
okay.
because I don't think it's possible. I think when you try to control for everything else, um, it's the money situation is not going to
But
rise
what
to this occasion.
I get that. I get that,
It's
but
I think that it's gonna because if everything is equal, why would the money not be equal? Why would the money not be there? And
I get what you're saying. I think you're saying that,
because if you have
and that's
intelligence level and
that
you
actually
have
right.
mhm.
That makes well maybe because one guy. Think about it. In my own life, there's choices I made that have made me $1 million. There's choices I didn't make. They could have made me another $1 million. Right. So I'm the same person. There's times where I made good decisions and bad decisions.
Here's the
So
thing.
maybe one
Okay,
guy.
can I say something?
Yes.
When we started dating, I thought I was gonna
You thought what?
I thought you were I thought you were broke.
You thought I was broke?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
When we started dating, I was like, oh my
You
God,
don't
do
remember
you need help?
we went to the Bahamas in the first 2 or 3 weeks of our relationship,
Yeah, and I
and
was
we
really worried about how
and
you could afford
we
that.
flew first class, and I bought the tickets. What makes you think that
Okay,
I was broke?
I ain't gonna lie. I was like, oh my God, how is Boyce affording this?
You gotta
Because
read the tea leaves, girl. Like you ain't a good gold. You can't.
I'm not a good
You would
gold
never be
digger.
a good gold digger because a gold digger would know. A gold digger could tell.
Okay, so I just seriously I could not tell. And I wasn't really concerned with that because I had my own stuff. And I was really like I was concerned because you didn't really spend money on from what I saw and what I experienced. To
Mhm.
me, you weren't someone that I thought, oh, he's got a lot of money.
Yeah, well, I don't wear my money on my sleeve. Like I don't talk about it, but I mean, I talk about it, but I don't talk about it.
I never heard
I
you
talk
talk,
about money as a concept
but
and investing
mhm.
and all that, but I don't talk about like I'm not sitting around. I'm not. I don't. My self worth is not determined by how much money I have. My money I have is a reflection of all the other things that I work on as a human being. Like my money is just a reflection of my work ethic, my intellect, my commitment, my discipline, sacrifice. It's a and that's why too, that's why your point earlier,
Yeah,
that's why I'm gonna support your point earlier, that women are not just attracted to men because they have the money. They're attracted to all the attributes that exist within a man who goes out and is able to climb mountains and conquer territory. That's what it is. So I think it's not just the money, it's the energy that leads to the money. And it makes sense because if you
hmm
want a man who's solid, who's going to be a good protector, provider, and provide security for you, you want a guy who's smart. You want a guy who's ambitious. You want a guy who's got discipline and awareness. You don't want some lazy sloth. Defending your kids. Your kids gonna get killed.
okay. And then I want to go back. Now I'm still on my comment. We weren't even Facebook friends when we started dating. Remember?
Yeah, you had
I
no idea about my other life. Like
I had no
that's something where I was like, okay, you need to heighten your awareness on
I
that, babe.
wasn't on Facebook. I'm sorry. I wasn't on Facebook like that. I just created an Instagram account. I don't even know what to do with my Instagram account. It's getting better. It's getting strong. My
Yeah,
Instagram
yeah.
account is gonna be popping.
Her Instagram is coaching with
It's
Dr.
gonna be
Alicia
great.
if you want to follow. And also you can go on coachingwithdralicia.com.
And I hope to
It
put my passion, the stuff that I find joy. I like to put that on my Instagram. Things that are important to me and just things that I like to do and that I'm interested in. That's what I want to convey on my social media. But before then I didn't even have it. I was like, what is I didn't remember you downloaded the Facebook app on my phone.
yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
So it's just I was so removed from this whole thing.
Okay. Next question.
Okay, so we're gonna move on.
Let's see. Ark says, can you see this voice? Yes, I can see this. Let's see. Roy Carter says black to reality. So basically, sugar daddy. Oh, I think they're debating what a simp is. So yeah, so he's saying a sugar daddy. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't judge. Like when people have those sugar daddy, sugar mama relationships, I don't judge that. I think that people can do whatever they want. But I think it's like as long as you know what it is. That's my rule.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever choice you make, as long as you know what it is. So like if you are dating a woman and you are the sugar daddy, and but you think that she really loves you, that she would love you even if daddy didn't have the sugar no more, then that means you're gonna be fooled. That would be
Yeah.
if I was to define so-called simping behavior, that might be it. Where the guy's like, oh, she loves me. Really, she just loves your money, you know.
Yeah. And
And
so the thing is that if the money runs out, then she ain't gonna be with you anymore. And that's what
right,
it is.
right, and I think that's really important, and I think that's why I don't know about other people, that have that get money, but I know that as I got more money, I became very conscious of which people I felt were around me to get access to my money
Mm.
versus those who I felt were could appreciate the money. I believe everybody appreciates the money, but also saw the other things about me, and that was why I had to eliminate a lot of women because I said, you're really enamored with the idea of being next to a guy that you think can maybe get you into special places and help you meet important people, but if I ever let that go, you might let me go.
Yeah, because so people are just with it could be women who are with you be like, "Hey, we should get together because we'd be a great power couple."
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had those offers. I mean,
You
I did.
did? You had
Oh
those
yeah,
offers?
yeah. Well, I
Okay.
told you about one person in particular, a very pretty lady that that is was very ambitious.
Okay.
Who
I'm trying to think of who it is. I
who
think I know who it
you
is.
know what I'm talking
Okay.
about. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah, yeah. Where she, I felt like she saw this business potential. Like, oh,
Ah,
we could be this amazing power couple. But the problem is that felt a little bit sinister.
contrived.
It felt
Yeah.
sinister to me. Like, oh Lord, I'm not messing with you. You know, yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I said, I'll be your friend, but I'm not gonna date you. I don't care how cute you are.
So it's not really about the love, it's about the power.
Yeah,
Let's just
yeah.
let's just be this power couple so that we can
Y-
do these
Yeah,
things
like you
here.
can't take this shit too seriously. Like you can
Mhm.
enjoy it, like have fun. Like we've had an opportunity to do a lot of really cool stuff because
Mhm.
of what we do, but it's like you have to always be able to let it go. Like the Buddhists, say don't get too attached to stuff.
Mhm. Mhm.
You have to be willing to let it go because at the end of the day, your principles have to matter more than the material stuff. And
Mhm.
and and if you start defining yourself by the material stuff, then you become almost like an addict, like a drug addict.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So what we're talking about are three things. We're talking about just getting together for lust. We're talking about and that's it. We're talking about just getting together for money and security and that's it.
Hmm.
And just getting together for power and control.
Right.
And those are the three interesting. Those are the three your three lower chakras.
Those are your three lower chakras, really: power and control, lust, and money.
Mhm.
But those are three things, and really,
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
agree that those are all lower vibrational
Mhm.
energies.
And think about it, all of our music is based on that. All of our
Mm-mm.
some of the stuff we see in the media, it's
Preach.
all it is. It's just those three lower chakras, and that's
Damn.
it.
And they're always appealing to our most base instincts, almost to the
Mhm.
point where they're making us behave like animals.
Like animals. Yep.
Wow,
Never
that's
are we
heavy.
going up higher than that.
Wow,
Mhm.
that's real, and I agree with that 100% because I think, I mean, because all those things you talk about, every human being can appreciate those things, right? We've all felt lust.
Mhm.
We've all felt like we've all been hungry for money at a certain point, especially when we didn't have it. We've all felt the temptation of greed and power,
Mhm.
right? And I think that and maybe it's because you maybe got to get to a certain stage and age in your life where you can get to that point, but those were things I would never get married on like that. I could never imagine basing a marriage on any of those things. Like I'm
Mhm.
not going to marry you and dedicate my life to you just because I'm sexually attracted to you. Like what the
That's
hell?
it.
And
Nothing
that's
else.
all I got, right? Like yeah, but I am sexually attracted to you. Like of course, right? But that wouldn't be enough, right? Or
Mhm.
also, I'm not gonna marry you and dedicate my life to you because of something financial or
Mhm.
because I think we'd make a great power couple. What the hell is that?
Mhm. Mhm.
That's ridiculous. And
It's
there are
ridiculous.
people who do that.
Yes, they do. And
Wow.
those it doesn't last
Mm.
because those things don't last.
Yeah, yeah.
They
It's
fade.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me see
Okay.
here. All right. So, Black to Reality says we definitely need to reestablish value for our kings and queens. We're so damn powerful, but lacking in strength because of the puppeteers defining our love. I agree.
Oh, that was
Um,
good.
let's see. Bash Hawk said it's simping when you have options and you choose the least of the options, i.e., a single mother instead of a woman with no children and building and curating your own family. Okay. I'm almost thinking about banning Boss Hog
Wait, don't
because
ban it. Don't ban it.
I'm not gonna do it because I really think Boss Hog probably got a mama who's a single mother, so he's out here bashing his own damn mama.
We don't
I
know.
can't no, but I'm serious. Like I'm just saying that a statement like that number one says you're too listen. What that says is number one, you're too stupid to be here probably. Number two, you are you're literally talking about like 75% of black women.
Okay,
And that's what you think
I
about.
want to
No, no, no.
say
But
something.
listen, but I don't
Hmm.
want no black men on here talking shitty about black women. You know, because how can you say that you are low value because you have children? Motherhood is the most important job that there is. And I'm just saying, like, come on, Negro. Like, you can state your point without being an asshole about it, and that makes me angry. That
Okay.
really does. It makes me angry because it's like, can't you just be a man and say, you know what, that's not the preference I would choose. But but instead you're like these single mothers. These are. I mean, if you mad at your baby's mama, go get your therapy, brother. Like, go handle your business.
Well, the
Because chances are, I bet if you look in this dude's life, you can talk now. Go ahead, I'm sorry, but if you look, I bet if you look in this guy's life, his life is probably a complete mess. You know, and he's reflecting, his messed up life onto this space, and I don't like that energy. So I'm not gonna ban him. But you say one more thing, you're gonna be out of here, partner. Go ahead, baby.
people who say things like that, they are the people who are going to end up marrying somebody with a child. That's how things happen. That's how the
That's so
universe
true.
works. That's how it works. That's how it works out. You're gonna eat your words. He's gonna eat his words. That's all I'm gonna say. He's
That's
gonna
a good
fall in
point.
love with a beautiful woman, and it's gonna be on a very high spiritual level, and he's gonna love her to death, and she's gonna love him to death. Let's just speak it into existence
She gonna
here.
drop it on him. He gonna be
And
like,
yes,
"Baby,
and he's gonna
please
love
don't
her,
go. I
and
love
it
you."
is going to that is what's going to happen to him,
That's true.
because when you
The guys that
say
talk to
that,
most are usually the guys that are the weakest ones.
yeah, when you say that, you bring that on yourself.
That is
So
so
that's
true.
that's what's going to happen to him.
That'll be his process. And also, he's probably like 23 years old. So let me quit arguing with children. All right. So let's see.
Hmm.
K Cam says, you guys are great for black people to see. Thank you very much, K Cam. I appreciate you very much. Brian Bridges, I see you. I see you. I see Brian Bridges in here a lot. He's a loyal supporter. DDS is here. He's the guardian. He guards the gate. So don't get to talking crazy. He'll block you out of here. The Buddy VA says, gotta create a business. They want me to get the jab to go back to work in the office. I can't say the V word. The V word rhymes with Maxine, but I'm not gonna say it. But
Well,
yeah, so
legally, you can't force people to jab to go in.
they're getting
It's
actually.
not.
I think Facebook is doing that actually. Facebook is saying you can't. I know they at least said you can't come to work if you haven't got,
Oh, good.
or as Black Dot says, the candy.
Can't get the candy.
I don't want to call
Uh-huh.
it candy though, because it don't feel like candy to me.
Well,
I call it the government shot.
it's always been this way, right? Remember that Oh, remember that song, "A Spoonful of Sugar Makes
Makes
the
the
Medicine
medicine
Go
go
Down."
down.
Yeah,
The medicine
medicine
go
go
down.
down. Like it's always been like that song was created just so to get people to take those
In the
things.
most delightful way. Oh, that's funny. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So let's. Well, yeah. So you got to get your business anyway, buddy. But yeah, I hear you, man. Nikki Tyson says, Nikki's talking to Boss Hall. Why would a single mother be considered the least of the options? Now, I don't think. I mean, kids add an extra variable to a relationship. I think that if you have kids, you have to make sure just have your stuff in order. I think that's really the idea. This is really true for men and women. What I really believe is this, and this is actually a tip. Now, I'm not going to make a tip to the people that have their stuff, that don't have their stuff in order, because those people probably ain't listening anyway. I'm talking to the B1 people that are trying to get their lives in order, trying to build, trying to be productive and successful. If you find somebody that has a complex life, the question to me is, do you have your stuff in order? Like, let's say you are, a divorcee with kids, which you were, right? And you were evaluating me as a black man who has, I lived a whole lot of life before you and I got together too, right? If either one of us had just had, if either one of our lives were like a complete mess, like let's say that I had just got out of jail, I was completely like financially messed up. I had a crazy baby's mama who's coming to the house because she's jealous, trying to kill you, and I had terrible children who had no respect for anybody. It would have been harder for you to love me because you'd be like, I don't want to bring this energy into my space, right? And if I had come into your life, and let's say that instead of, let's say that the kid's father, instead of being the wonderful man that he is, had been like a complete asshole and who's doing ridiculous stuff, and let's say your kids were a bunch of baby's kids and you had 1,000 problems you were dumping in my lap every day, instead of being a well put together black woman, a professional that already had, you already had your stuff together, you had your career, you had your resources, everything was tight, right? It would have been difficult for me too, right? So I think that that's what it is. The question is not, do you have children or not have children? Like, don't let people dumb you down into getting you to make simple, one-dimensional decisions. Look at the variables, look at the factors. Because I know single women with no kids whose lives are a complete damn mess. I mean, shit all over the place. Got all kinds of chaos that they're gonna bring into your life, and you think you got the prize because she got a nice booty and no kids, and you don't understand. There's single mothers out here that are handling their shit, that they really are doing better. Like she might have more money than you. Like seriously, think about it. Think about how many professional single black mothers are out here who are holding it down,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? So this idea that somehow a woman having children is somehow a lower value option. Just manage your damn baby mamas first before you start talking about what she's doing with her kids. Because a lot of us have kids after a certain age.
Yeah, after a certain age, it all depends on ages and stages that you're in.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Just have your shit together and
Yeah.
find people that have their shit together. That's to me, that's the
Mm-hmm.
idea. Like, are you a good CEO of your shit? I think that I could put that on a t-shirt. Be a
Can
good
you find your stuff?
be a CEO of your shit. Like seriously, like because your life is like a business, right? And you're the CEO. And some people are terrible CEOs of their own life. And
They
they're like,
can't. They couldn't run anything.
yeah, yeah, and you should not. And remember, family is an institution. Family is like starting a business with somebody. So why would you start a business with somebody who's messy? And you
A
got
bad business partner.
right, and you got messy women and messy dudes. Like a guy. Like I'll tell you, if I was a woman and some guy shows up and he got three babies, mamas, and two of them are crazy, and they all dipping into his paycheck before you even get a nickel. These three hoes are taking. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm getting kind of ratchet, but seriously, before you get a nickel of the check, three other people are taking their cut. Like, I wouldn't sign up for that. Especially you don't maintain your credit. His credit is jacked up. He got 150,000 in student loan debt and didn't even finish college. Seriously, I'm just saying, and this is not gender specific to me. This is not gender specific. This is saying, in general, good people should merge with good people.
And it's not saying you have to have all your stuff together.
Hmm.
It could be like you two could come together and be like, you know what, this part is real raggedy right now. I'm trying to work on it. And you can be like, well, this part of me is real raggedy. And y'all get
Hmm.
together and become like stellar.
Well, good energy,
Come
yeah.
stellar. Be stellar
Well, yeah,
together.
yeah, yeah. It's all yes. So it's not just defined by what you become to that point. It's also where's your energy going.
Hmm.
Are you into self-improvement? Like I didn't meet you in the club. You and I went to the club together one time,
We
and we
did. That
and
was
we were.
fun.
I felt out of place. I'm not a club guy, but if you walked in and all the guys were like chasing you around like puppy dogs, but but it was like, but I met you in the library, and
Yeah.
I wanted to, when I visualized where I was going to meet my wife, I did not visualize meeting my wife in the club. It doesn't mean that there aren't hot, sexy women in the club, that lower chakra stuff. But I wanted to meet my wife in the library. I wanted to meet my wife at church. I wanted to meet my wife, somewhere good in the park.
At church, boys.
Yeah, yeah.
When's the last time you've been to church?
I don't. That's exactly. That's why I didn't get married for a long time. I wasn't going to church, but I respect a woman who has, who believes in something, who has good character, who's trying her best to be a good human being. I don't, the Cardi B's don't appeal to me. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think most men can look at a Megan the Stallion video, and when you're showing them the booty and all that, black men, we can appreciate a nice booty.
Yeah, but
But
is it like too much booty? Are you just like, oh my God, this booty is it's just
but
way too much? Is it like
what,
sensory
what,
overload?
yeah, it is. There you go. That's exactly right. It's like
It's
giving
like
it.
this is too
It's
much
like you're trying not to get fat, and somebody's offering you candy all the time.
all the time.
Yeah, and then you
Okay.
might be like, "Get that candy out of my face!" Like, please stop that. I'm gonna slam the door in your face if you keep bringing this candy to my door. And it's not because you don't like candy; it's
Yeah.
because you do like candy. Because you're like, I don't want to eat candy all day. That's gonna make me fat. It's gonna give me diabetes, right? And so effectively, like seriously, and I've had guys I've blocked on my Facebook because I was going through my Facebook stories, and there would be guys, like the one guy had a lady just twerking on his Facebook story, and I'm like, you're a dude, like I want to see a picture of, like, I want to see stuff of you and your family, or you doing something constructive. I don't want to see this lady twerking. She had tattoos on her ass, and just stripper stuff. And I'm like, well, and I unfriended him, and I think he would probably, I don't know, I didn't want to be mean, but it's like, I don't really need you putting this in my face,
Okay.
like, and that's part of, I think, trying to choose to be a better person in a certain way. It's like, like everything.
Remember that video Rump Shaker? Where
All I
like
want to do is zoom, zoom, zoom,
the
zoom,
whole
and a
video.
boom,
Okay,
boom.
am I dating myself? I was in college when that came out.
Shake
But
it, shake it,
but it
shake
was
it,
like the
down, shake it.
camera was just like on the booty for the whole video. It was
I
like,
did not
what
like,
is that?
I did not like that. I didn't. That video didn't do anything for me. And then
Okay.
also, that Cisco video. Let me see that
Oh,
thong.
the
Da,
thong.
da, da,
What
da,
happened to Cisco? I
da,
haven't
da, da,
seen him
da.
lately.
Yeah.
But yeah, that thong song that was like women were
Well,
buying up thongs.
and their booties were like really small.
Well, now, we
Yeah.
get the
Well,
injections and all of
but
that.
even without the injections, you've always had black women that had nice curves. I don't know where to get these women on TV. Anyway, let's move on. Let's
Yeah,
get,
we move
this is
on.
low chakra stuff. Let's move on. All right, so let's see here. Brian Norfleet is in China. How can I buy stocks from here? Um, that's a good question, because China, Brian, their internet is very restricted, and so the apps that we talk about in the United States, you can't get them over there. Also, remember that there's a cold war between the U.S. and China, where they're not real supportive right now. The government is not supportive at all of Chinese companies that are listed in the United States. So you might want to talk to some people in China about what's happening in China, and buy stocks there. I wouldn't even, and then also maybe stocks there, or mutual funds there that are investing overseas. So I'd find out what they have going on in China as far as investment apps. I wouldn't try to use anything that's over here. They're very kind of anti-American right now. Let's
Okay,
see
it's a
here.
brother in China. Okay.
Let's see. Flora Magalefa says, Dr. Boyce, way to go for your leadership in our community. Thank you. You were on the Metro newspaper on Tuesday here in the UK about your opinion on Lil Nas X.
What?
Oh, Lil
You
Nas
made the
X
newspapers, boys.
in London. Well, in London, in England. I'm sorry, in the UK. In the UK, I love the UK. Let me just say that I love London. That's one of the saddest things about the pandemic, is we haven't had time to go
Can
back to
we
London.
go overseas?
I
What
want
is
to.
it
I don't know,
like?
but the UK is having trouble with the virus.
They are having big trouble. Well,
So
everybody. Well, apparently
yeah,
it's
yeah.
all going to
So I
be
say I say we wait
problematic.
till maybe next year. But I had so much fun. We went to Scotland and London and all that, and we did that event in London. And Taylor did her dance, and it was so great. And it was totally sold out. Everybody came out, and we planned that event 3 days in advance. I just literally just decided while I was there. I said, let's get a hotel and let's just tell everybody I'm in London and see if they show up.
They
And all these
came.
people came, and it was so awesome. And Black London is lit. The black people in London, I'm telling y'all, do not sleep on Black London. I just love Black
That's
London.
where it's happening. The
In fact,
revolution is in Black London, right
yeah,
there.
I'm actually interviewing a brother today named Dean Okai, OKAI, out of London. The smartest, one of the smartest black men I've ever met. Love this. I have tremendous respect for him.
Okay, I'm gonna tune into
Oh,
this.
he's a bad boy. He's a
Okay.
bad boy. Yeah, without a doubt. Okay, so let's see here. Let's see. Miss Hogg says, I'm a military veteran wife. Believe me, I understand PTSD, Dr. Alicia. Wow, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, a veteran's wife. That military culture is just something interesting to get into. The
Yes, it
culture of
is.
being in the military. It's like no other. So.
Yep.
Mhm.
DDS says, I love philosophical arguments. Well, we love you too, DDS. I don't even know DDS's real name. I guess I just always call DDS. I don't
DDS.
know the gender. And maybe DDS has told me before, and I
DDS, put a
apologize.
photo up. Is there's no photo up?
No, but they can't put a photo. Oh, photo on the, oh, your
Oh, on
profile
the
picture.
profile picture.
Yeah. Because I mean, yeah, I really appreciate, because they hold it down in the chat. It's
Okay.
really a really important job, and I appreciate that very much. Um, Let's see here. Mike says, Dr. Boyce, how do you get your family to preserve and look after wealth after you have been fortunate enough to acquire it? Last thing I want is my family to blow it. That's a great point, Mike. Did you know that 70% of all wealthy families lose all their wealth within one generation?
I absolutely believe that.
Yep. And
Hmm.
90% of all wealthy families lose all their wealth within two generations. And a lot of that is because your kids, unfortunately, are going to be the biggest thieves in your life. So they're going to take your money and blow it because they don't have the same value system that you had that led you to work hard and acquire everything, the discipline. So what you have to do, in my view, is look into estate planning, like trusts, where you can set up conditions under which your wealth can be used. So like Shaquille O'Neal has a thing where he told his kids, if you don't get a master's degree, you can't touch my money. He said, you got to have degrees to get my cheese.
Yeah, I really like that. And it's not just the degree. He didn't say you have to get it in a certain area. It is the discipline and the intellectual growth that it takes to get 2 degrees, to get a master's degree. Like
Hmm.
it just requires so much of you. And so I can see why he would come to that conclusion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for
Yeah, that's
sure.
great.
For
Hmm.
sure. Dylan says, Dr. Boyce, you don't believe in voting for president? Can a pro reparations candidate win since black people are 20% of the population at most? And that's a good question, Dylan. Actually, we're 13% of the population and dropping because they're
Hmm.
letting a lot of people into the country from other places. But I hear what you're saying for sure. I think that, if they can have candidates that are pro LGBT, then we can have candidates that are pro reparations.
Well,
Um,
okay.
what?
Sorry.
What?
I'm a Green Party supporter, and the
Okay.
Green Party is the only political party that supports reparations.
Okay. Okay. All
So
right. All right.
I love the
I
Green
heard.
Party.
I hear.
Check into the Green
I hear
Party.
you, black woman. I hear you. I hear you. I see you.
Okay.
Lady Reed, Dr. Watkins, please confirm that you are speaking to me on Messenger, A Reed, and I'm not being scammed. No, that is not me. I am not the one speaking to you. So yes, Lady Reed, you are being scammed. If somebody's sending you personal messages talking to you about investing with me, that is not me. If you do not see my face or hear my voice, then do not do it, Lady Reed. So, gosh, I'm so glad I saw your comment. And please tell anybody that asks. Oh my God, people have lost money with that.
They really people really thought it was you?
One lady lost $5,000.
Oh no.
Yeah, I broke my heart. And I don't know how to stop it. I don't.
Jeez.
Yeah, I don't know how to stop it. You don't know how to stop the bots. You can't stop all the trolls. It's like what are you gonna do?
Mm.
Nadia says, I feel bombarded with so much stuff coming in. I'm hardly on social media. I do not watch the news, but the people are always talking about the stuff going on, but they are not trying to come up. Yeah, Nadia, find
Oh.
find you some positive people. That's it. Like, being
Hmm.
positive is like a culture, it's a decision. It's almost like at least for me, optimism is like a religion for me. I try my best to look for the bright side
Yeah,
and
I love the optimism.
yeah,
That's
knowledge and
so
optimism.
because optimism is such a better word than just being positive all the time.
Mm,
And it's a different word because the thing is, optimistic is saying, "Oh goodness, I had a bad day, but I know it's gonna be better."
yeah, yeah.
It's acknowledging the fact
Hmm.
that you might be sad or you might be feeling some things that are uncomfortable, but it's going to be better. Oh, it's going to get better. Or you can just turn it around and say, okay, well, this is happening for something. And then, like, being creative in how something negative that can happen to you and just be creative and be like, you know what? That meant that was not the way I was supposed to go. Something better is there. That's what optimism is.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, I like to, yeah, I like to acknowledge I like knowledge and acknowledgement and positivity. That's Pac, like Tupac, P-A-K,
Tupac.
P-A-K. Positivity, acknowledgement, and knowledge. So just call me 3 Pac. All right, so
Okay.
let me see. Let me keep going. I'm gonna answer a couple more questions. Oh, dang, this thing scrolled all the way down. Damn. Okay, let me see here. You should be a guest on Tim Pool's show, says Jeff. I don't know who Tim Pools is, but it sounds
Tim Pools.
interesting.
Okay.
Let's see here. There's a brother from London, it says Patrick, who calls in on the Carl Nelson show. That brother's very intelligent. Yes, very smart people in London. Daryl says, love you guys. Love you too. Grow
Hey,
Thyself says,
Daryl.
cases going up, deaths going down. We should ignore the C word. I'm not going to say the virus,
Uh
and
huh.
let it run its course. Um, I'm not going to say yes or no to that. I will say that what you said makes perfect sense to me to a point for sure. I mean, I just personally don't. I'm not sitting around worried about the virus. It doesn't mean it's not real. It just means that, it's out there. You got to be careful, but it's not. It's probably not going to kill you. Let's see here. Last time I saw you and your wife was at the zoo. If that is you, that is. We,
No,
we
I
don't. No,
let me
Alicia
tell
hates the zoo.
let me tell you. You know how you see those posts that like name something that everybody loves but you hate. I do not like going to the zoo.
Mm.
It is something about those animals. They do not look happy in there. It is not natural for them to be caged up like that.
Well,
And it stinks,
you get them
and
get.
it's always like way too hot, and the food is like a drink is okay. A can of pop is $3. It's like, oh, the zoo is
well,
awful. It just always puts me in a bad mood, and it
the
makes me
kids never.
tired.
The kids have never asked to go to the zoo.
I'm
And
not taking
I know
them.
you don't like the zoo, and I
No,
don't really care because I agree the zoo does stink. So I can do it. I can do with or without it. Daryl says salute to you and your queen. Thank you very much,
thank
Daryl. I
you.
appreciate you. Um, let's see here. Yam Sam Man says single moms are only good to date if their children are adults. I think it's good. I think it's okay to have that preference, but I actually think that the ability to kind of mold a young black mind in a positive way is a blessing, and I really enjoy talking to the children and kind of watching, like, when Quincy told me he's going to University of Louisville, and
I
that's like, and
know
we
that's
played a
so
part in that. That's pretty
wonderful.
cool. He wants to be an entrepreneur, because I think I kind of got to him on that. And then
Did he say he wanted to be an entrepreneur?
yeah, he's going to study entrepreneurship because he
He
understands.
said he was going to study.
Well,
No,
remember,
wait a minute. You know more
no,
stuff about my
no,
own child
no,
than I know.
he's gonna be an engineer. But I told him, I said, you could be an engineer and be like the people that go work for engineering companies, or you could be like Elon Musk and become a millionaire or a billionaire. All Elon Musk is an engineer who became an entrepreneur.
That's
Two,
true.
right? He took his engineering skill and applied it in an entrepreneurial way. That led to that basically removed his salary cap. He had no salary cap at that point because entrepreneurs don't have a salary cap.
So I'm like really interested because I did not know that he was interested in entrepreneurship.
Yeah. Because remember, he goes to that school where the YouTube co-founder went to that damn school.
Yes.
I said, manage your relationships, be
Yes.
friends with some of those nerdy ass Indian, Chinese, and white and black kids that you meet. Like all the kids that you're meeting, those little nerdy ass kids, they're gonna be the millionaires of tomorrow. They are the black millionaires. Y'all know we got that program, Black Millionaires of Tomorrow.
No, they really the black millionaires.
They are the black, and they're the Indian millionaires of tomorrow.
That's right.
The Chinese millionaires. They're gonna some of them are gonna be billionaires. I said, you have a chance that you have a couple of billionaires in your class. All you
Yeah.
got to do is just be a good person, make friends, and add value. And
Yeah. So I don't know if people know our son who graduated from high school. He graduated from a science and technology high school. And so
yeah,
it was a pretty competitive school to get into.
yeah.
And and he wants to be an engineer, but that's interesting. He wants to be in entrepreneurship. Okay. All
Well,
right.
he likes those fancy cars. I paid attention. That's the key. See, that's here's a little secret. I'm not an expert on this, but one of the things I did when I was trying to find my place in the house, because people that really don't want to be stepdads, I totally get it. It ain't easy.
It's not
It takes
easy.
work because the kids are like, "Who are you? You ain't my daddy. Why are you here?" Right. So you gotta have to kind of It takes patience. It's so I totally when guys say they don't want to do it, I say if you ain't ready for that, like if you ain't ready, then don't do it. But if
Hmm.
you can do it, if you have the strength to do it, it is a rewarding experience because I really like I'm in there. Like now with those kids, I have spent thousands of hours with each of them, and I'm and I get and this is part of my legacy. Like okay, they're in my will. We're all connected now,
They're not in your
and
will.
here they are. And as a man gets older, like when you get past 50, like you could drop dead at any moment. And so in my mind, I'm thinking, when I die, who's gonna be at my funeral and what are they gonna say about me? And I love the idea of knowing that if I died tomorrow, I could die with a smile on my face because I know that the people at my funeral would be able to say, this man did something for me. He made my life better. They're not going to be like, well, he fucked over people his whole life. He abandoned us.
They'd be searching for good things to say about your
Right,
life.
when they sitting up there and
They're like,
they're silent. Like, that's embarrassing when people up there, supposed to love you, are up there silent because they can't think of anything good to say about you. And I know men, I know guys like that.
It's
Because
tough.
think about it. The reason you have no harvest is because you planted no seeds. You
So,
make you
so,
make well, pay attention. Let me
hmm
just make this point though.
hmm
It's just like investing. You don't just invest in money in assets. You invest in people. And so when you have guys that die and nobody loves them, nobody cares, and they have to find people to come to the funeral. It's because throughout their life they never invested in anything. They didn't invest financially. They also didn't invest emotionally. So when
hmm
you invest in those kids, like, yeah, sure, when you're the adult, you have the freedom, you have the power. The children are vulnerable. You can choose to engage or not engage, right? But then one day you become the old man and the children become the powerful ones, and they're going to remember all of that shit you did or did not do when they were young. they
well,
and
they
I,
forgive. I mean, you can't. You don't want. We don't want you to feel like you have to be perfect, though.
no, you ain't got to be perfect. You just got
Okay.
to, I think, but you should do your best.
Mm-hmm.
You should do your best, and you have to pour into something else because you're not going to live forever.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
So let me see. Miss Yum Yum says, "Do you ask you anything? What is your collective net worth?" Well, if you Google it, it's out there. I didn't know. I had no idea I was on Celebrity Net Worth. That's when you're kind of out there. It's
You're
when
on You're official celebrity, boys.
God, man, that don't even
Look
that
at you.
I and that's so funny. That's such a weird. That's hilarious. Let me see. Mr. Ronald Lawrence says, Dr. Alicia, quote, "I thought you were broke." Now that's a revelation.
I really did.
Yeah.
Because you had that hole in your coat.
Well, that's because I'm not into
Boy,
material
let me
stuff.
tell you, boys had his coat on and it was like a hole in it. And I was like, oh. And I was like, oh, we should go and get you a coat
Well, I
that
told you.
didn't have a hole in
Well,
it.
well, like Angela
I
Bridges
feel
said.
bad for
But
you.
like Angela said, I don't wear my money on my sleeves.
Yeah, but
I
a
don't. I
hole
don't.
in it.
Well, I just don't. I just didn't care. What the way I am is I've always been committed to my craft and what I do.
I hope you don't mind me sharing that
No,
you had
no,
a
no.
hole in
It's
your
okay.
coat.
I don't care.
I guess
Um,
it's too late if you did.
my mama did that to me. My mama planted that in me when I was a kid. I used to ask my mama to buy me like name brand stuff because my friends all had it. They had, like with the jeans with the white man's name on the back, or the Nike sneakers or whatever, or the shirt with the little logo, the polo, or whatever.
What
And
was money like in your household? I never knew.
we didn't have a lot of it. My parents,
Hmm
we lived in government subsidized housing. When I was a kid.
But that was
Um,
just for a year.
no, no, it wasn't for a year. No, we until I was 10, or actually 11.
Really?
Yes,
Oh,
a place
okay.
called Colonial Square. Yeah, the government, like our rent was real low because the government covered that, and so it wasn't like we had nothing. We had love and
Gee,
family,
okay.
but I remember like little things like you could tell when Mama got paid because when Mama got paid, the fridge would be full of food, but when Mama or Daddy didn't get paid, there would be no food in the
Why
fridge.
would they not get paid? They had regular jobs,
They
though.
did, but I'm saying when they didn't get paid,
Oh,
like they
during the
got paid,
time
they're right,
that
they
they
got paid
didn't.
every 2 weeks.
Okay.
So you could tell when the mama got paid or daddy got paid by how much food was in the fridge.
That's so interesting. That's an interesting journey
Yeah,
about that.
it wasn't
So,
it wasn't
okay.
terrible though. I mean, it was
Uh-huh.
more like lower. It was more like lower middle class. No, I say upper lower class. And so it was like roaches and stuff. Like I grew up with roaches around, and I didn't think roaches were a big deal. That's why they don't bother me. And
Wow. Okay.
so it was like money was tight, but it wasn't like we never had anything, but we didn't have an abundance of much,
Okay.
you know.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, I think that's so fascinating because I grew up so different from that. Like, I grew up like,
Well, you grew up poor to me. What are you talking about?
well, no. I mean, I'm remembering. So, my dad was a college professor, and I remember living we had a big new house
Well,
in
you,
Alabama.
well, you had a tale of two worlds with your
I
dad.
had a little bit, but I just want to explain. Like, it was we moved into a house. It was built, brand new house. We were down there, Even the house we lived in when I lived in Louisville was brand new at the time we moved into it. So I
Mm,
do remember like so that was really nice. But I don't I mean that was my really early years. But money was never talked about like that. You know, it was
mm,
never really discussed so much. I guess because it just didn't need it to be. It didn't need to be. But I do remember there were some times when I lived just with my mom that it was things were sort of bad, but she had a master's degree and was a school teacher. So she didn't make a lot of money, but it was enough. So I just don't remember roaches. That's all I'm saying. I
oh,
ain't have
okay,
no roaches in
okay.
my house.
Yeah. That's
And
what it was. So, okay.
anyway.
So, how do you feel about debate? Tony's asking, how do you feel about the baby catching heat for gay comments, but never any criticism for saying the N word or degrading women? That's a great point. You know what, Tony? You gave me an idea for
You gonna do a
I
podcast
think
on it?
I think I want to do a conversation about that because it's a good point.
Yeah.
They'll get up there and they can call black people the N word all day, but they say something about gay people. It's like, oh, well, how
They
dare
coming
you?
down on him
How dare
hard.
you? How dare
He's
that's hate
canceled.
speech,
He's
right?
canceled.
We're gonna can
We
right.
can't cancel you
I say, how about this?
for our
I say we
degradation.
cancel white people. How about that?
Well,
Um,
they've already been. Listen, I don't have to cancel somebody that's already been canceled.
that's a good point. Well, I'm canceling
You
them
ain't
up
never
there.
in there to be canceled.
Yeah, there you go. Let
You
me
have a
see. Any
finisher.
thoughts on the Robinhood IPO? I'm not buying into the Robinhood IPO. Look, he got a picture of Umar Johnson. That is not Umar. Wouldn't that be funny if
It
Umar
could
Johnson was
be.
in
It
here?
could be
That
him.
is
And
not.
listen,
That is not Umar,
you
babe.
can
Babe,
give.
that is not Umar. That is somebody pretending to be Umar.
Okay, that's fine. But even if it was, I'm glad that he came here to ask his question.
Yes.
Okay.
Thoughts on the Robinhood IPO? I'm not going to buy it. There's nothing special about the Robinhood IPO. There's thousands of stocks you can buy, and a bunch of them that are better than Robinhood. What are your thoughts on AMC stock and altcoins like SHIB and Doge? I don't think those are good investments. If you want to play the lottery and gamble and roll the dice, then have fun. But that's not where I put the bulk of my family wealth. And we know that's not Umar because he said, "Hello, my beautiful black Pan African couple." Umar ain't gonna say that. Umar's gonna be like, "Boyce, you son of a bitch."
No, listen.
Oh, Umar has disliked me since 2015. That's a fact.
Okay, let's move on. I don't
Okay,
want
let
to
me see.
focus on
Yeah,
that. Okay.
excellent point. Let me see. TGIF family. I'm about to log into the Matrix. Hit that like button. Oh, thank you, Ola Sumbo. I appreciate that. Let me see. All right. So you know what, guys? It looks
But
like we have had a great opportunity to talk to you guys. Um, uh, for an hour and 21 minutes and 27 seconds. So God bless all of you. And I want to let you all know if you want to follow Dr. Alicia on Instagram or anywhere else, you can look up Coaching with Dr. Alicia. Her website is coachingwithdralicia.com. And she does couples counseling as well as individuals. You counsel individuals,
I
right?
do have some individuals. My main focus is couples, and it's basically relationships too.
Mm,
And it's great. You should. I mean, if there's something that you are interested in improving your relationship and trying to improve yourself and gain some clarity about who you are and what you're going, where you're headed, what you're
mm.
doing, I can help you. It's
Okay.
great.
Okay, great.
Hmm.
All right. So there you go. That's the URL and DDS being the awesome person that DDS is. I have to use gender neutral language because DDS, I'm trying to figure out if you're a man or a woman and what your actual
DDS is
name
not
is.
helping us at all.
No, DDS is helping a lot, but
I'm
DDS is
talking about not
helping
helping us in
right, not
terms of
giving right. They're like, I'm not going.
who.
Yeah, but that's okay. You know what? Keep your cover, DDS, because the feds might be watching. So we want to hide, keep your identity a secret, but you are a secret weapon, and that we love you. So, oh, DDS is a man. Okay,
Okay, so at least we got gender. That's great.
all right,
We'll
okay.
leave it there.
All right, DDS. God bless you. Oh man, thank you so much, and God bless everybody in here. Katie Weems. God bless you. Lance Mobley says, "Did you ask speak with her father for her hand in marriage, or is that an old-fashioned gesture?" Well, her father, unfortunately, he passed right. I guess right before, right when we started
Right
dating.
when we started dating, he passed. And
Yeah.
well, you could do a séance and bring him in and ask him.
Oh, we
How about
could.
that? He's
We
on the other
could.
side. I'm
We
sure he's with
we
us.
could. Yeah,
You
Francis.
could
So Dr.
you could
Francis
talk to him.
Taylor.
Give me a
So
symbol.
how about this?
Give me a sign if it's yes or no.
Why don't we bring him into the room? Why don't we do a seance?
Do a
A digital
séance. A
seance.
digital
Okay,
séance.
so let's bring him in. So everybody type Dr. Francis Taylor in the chat. And we're gonna bring him in. So everybody type Dr. Francis Taylor in the chat. And if you say his name over and over again, I believe that means he will appear in the room. So we got to bring him in the room. Okay. So
Okay.
let's shut our eyes, meditate. Dr. Francis Taylor, Dr. Francis Taylor, Dr. Francis Taylor, Dr. Francis Taylor.
Okay, he's here.
Is
He's
he
here.
here? Okay. All right. So Dr. Francis Taylor, I would like for you to know, since you were listening, he is listening. He's in the chat now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Dr. Francis Taylor, I'd like you to know that I honor you tremendously for the fact that you and your wife gave birth to the most beautiful woman on the planet. And I also appreciate the fact that you were a professor because that helped her to see the value in me
Mm-hmm.
as a scholar. That way she was able to look past all those dumb jocks and
Uh-huh.
and I see you in her all the time, every day. A lot of your habits and values are in her, and I'd like to apologize for the fact that I did not get a chance to ask your permission to get your daughter's hand in marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And I assume you saw the wedding, and I just want you to know that I honor and appreciate you and everything you represent.
Okay.
All
He's
right.
gonna give you a big thumbs up, boys. For
All right.
sure.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So there we go. So we did our seance. It's done now.
All right, we're official.
All right.
It's official today.
We are official.
Yes.
All right. Okay, everybody. Well, have a good day, and I will talk to you. We will talk to you all soon, and we'll say goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone.
All right. See you
Okay.
soon. Bye bye.